I'm Paloma Alcesar, and this is Good Morning Vogue. Good Morning Vogue is a brand new way for us to look at fashion. 3 episodes a week from New York to London to Milan to Paris in a season unlike any other. In today's premiere episode, we'll be talking to designers, editors, and thinkers around what's really happened to fashion in the last 6 months and where we're going. As a model in this industry for 6 years, I have always wondered who truly benefits. But this is a season for opportunity and hopefully for big changes. This is fashion's wake-up call.
I think for years, all of us who work in the fashion industry have been talking about how bloated and old-fashioned, frankly, the whole system of attending the shows and the amount of people that would travel from city to city, spending, a huge amount of money. It was this extraordinary spectacle, which at the same time generated a huge amount of impressions and an enormous amount of interest and following in fashion. But as a way to run a business, it simply wasn't working.
I think the main thing about our industry that needs to change is the speed of it. We create too many collections a year. We create too many things. I think ultimately our customer has started to view what we create as almost disposable.
It's like a mixture between like autopilot and an assembly line.
So much of what the fashion industry has been missing the plot on is reality and actual inclusion.
At the start of 2020, it was like the crack in the glass. With the pause, we felt where the industry was just sort of overrunning itself. By the middle of the year, when George Floyd was murdered, it allowed us to look at ourselves in the mirror to sort of recognize the racial inequalities that still exist, in America and the world abroad. And us as a fashion industry, what do? We project images. We almost give perceived value. And then when we look at ourselves, we look at how imbalanced maybe that representation is.
There is a real reckoning taking place in America right now in an attempt to confront years of systemic racism in this country. And of course, this impacts the fashion world as well as, obviously, the world at large.
We, as a fashion industry, have never really tackled the subject of race. Now it's a conversation that's happening, which I love that it's happening more and more. I think now we're even looking beneath the surface and we're starting to look at systemic racism and all of the challenges that cause. And we're not just looking at what it is, but we're looking at why it is.
You have to face the world today. If you are in fashion and you just do clothes, I feel that you do half of your job. Our job is about witnessing our time in delivering an idea of beauty. We need to be more inclusive. It's impossible not to do it.
I think now more than ever, people's consumption is going to want to match their value system. And I think for me personally, and I know all of my customers in my community, they're very into voting with their money, and when someone spends money on your brand or when someone spends money at all, that's a power transaction. Even when you like something on Instagram, that's a power transaction. So you need to spend your time and your resources on the things that you want to see do well and succeed.
What's been incredible and positive about this experience that everybody has been going through is that it has been a time for reflection and for us all to think about what went wrong, why it went wrong, and what we can do differently. So after the pandemic first hit, I think everybody's reaction within the American fashion community and certainly at Vogue and the CFDA was, what can we do to help? We realized that we could take the Fashion Fund and repurpose it as an initiative called A Common Thread and raise money to help those that were most in need, whether it was designers or small businesses like small boutiques or even factories, stylists, anyone that was part of our community that was really struggling during the past few months.
One of the most inspiring things I've seen is how designers, particularly the designers that I work with, which are mostly Black or Latina designers, how they have taken this moment and leveraged it. I'm talking about from the pandemic. Even in the most dire situation, that they figured out a way to be optimistic and to create in a situation that felt pretty hopeless.
I think that the most inspiring thing that I've seen during this moment, I think, has been less of an emphasis on selling product or making product or just things, and more of an emphasis on community, on quality, on feeling, on emotion, which is the reason that we all probably got into fashion.
Tom Ford calls this period a hibernation. I think that anybody who can say fashion is going to be this in 6 months or even in a year, they're lying. Nobody knows. I think we're in a moment where people are going to try a lot of different things.
I'm essentially just trying to lead by example because I know that this industry is a great one. I know that there's a changing of the guard. We've been passed the baton. It's up to us to sort of make the change that we want to see.
I just want to see a complete rethinking of what it means to be diverse, which in my mind is just accepting the multitudes of existence. Every kind of person should see themselves in fashion.
None of us really know what fashion is going to be in the next 2 to 3 years, how the industry is going to look, but I do believe that it has been decentralized. I don't think it will ever go back to business as usual.
For 2021, I think it's going to take a little while for us to get there. And I think as we start to get out of the weeds, even when I talk about it, I feel like a cellular shift in myself. We will have all emerged a little bit differently, and I think I'm excited to see the new colors that people will have, the new stripes.
I get really mad when I read the articles about fashion being over and nobody needs it. We all need fashion. We all need clothes to put on our backs and to express ourselves. And I think out of this is going to come an even deeper desire for fashion and for the best of fashion. And it's the mundane and the knockoffs and the cheap stuff that is going to fall by the wayside. And it's going to be a celebration of what is really the best of what we do.
After the pandemic of 1918 and after World War I, what did we have? We had the Roaring '20s.
Thanks for watching Good Morning Vogue. Be sure to come back Wednesday where we'll be talking to the founder of Pierre Moss, Kirby Jean Raymond.